Hi guys, so in today's video, I'm going to share with you how you're going to make money in a recession. Now, everyone's talking about a global recession that is actually coming, and it's going to be here in 2023, and it's going to be really big, and a lot of people are actually very worried right now. Now, I'm going to share with you a little bit of a technique that I use that I've made money in the past that I believe you can actually apply during this recession to also make money. If you're interested about this, I'm going to tell you a little bit about a story right now. I'm going to reference another time that just happened recently, which is called the COVID-19 pandemic. And in the COVID-19 pandemic, there was actually a crisis over there where a lot of things happened and we actually made a lot of money. As a matter of fact, I'm coming up with a book pretty soon and it's going to share how we made 500 million ringgit. So that's approximately about 100 million US dollars in the last crisis just by following this strategy. So if you're interested about this, stay tuned and follow me. So let me just share a story about COVID-19 first. So how did we actually make money during that time? It was basically because of something that we followed. And basically it was something called the qualitative easing. Okay, so this is the word. It's a big word right now, qualitative easing. And basically it's a big word right now, but what that actually meant was that there was a huge amount of money that was printed during the time of COVID-19. So when COVID-19 happened, it actually happened in March of 2020 because I remembered it very clearly. And by a period of the next 1 to 2 months, President Donald Trump, the President of the United States then, started to issue out to the Federal Reserves of US to start to print out more money so that this money could be distributed to help the economy. So you see what happened during a crisis was there was a lot of businesses that were affected. A lot of people went jobless because of lockdowns and all these kind of impacts that happened. And what happened during that time was the government of the United States started to take that action and started to print a lot of money. Now, how much money did they print? They actually print a total of $9 trillion in 2 years, in 2020 to 2021. So let me just draw this out to you guys right now. So what does that mean basically is this. If you draw a timeline over here, at 2020 first quarter all the way to the end of 2021, beginning 2022, what happened was the total amount of money that was actually printed in US and many other main countries over there started to go up. And with this huge amount of money that actually went into the market, we took advantage of this. So this is how we made a lot of money. Now, how did we do that? Some of this money over here went into the stock market and the stock market started to rise as well. Okay, and some of it eventually went into the crypto market, and in the crypto market, that market also started to go up. So as you can see, if you were to know some of these events that actually happened during those times, you would be able to make a lot of money. Now, all this is already history, so check it out and you can verify my data over here. As a matter of fact, in some countries like the UK, which also started to print a lot of money during that time, their property market, their housing market also started to go up during that time as well. So this is one of the reasons and areas of how I'm able to manipulate the market during the worst of times to go out there and get benefits from it and also profit from it. So this is how I did it. What did I do? Well, I couldn't actually touch the money that was actually printed, but what really happened was the money actually flowed into different market classes, and all I needed to do was time where the money would go into the stock market. So for example, during the pandemic, I put most of my money into technology stocks and medical stocks. Now, of course, it's also because there are good areas to go in, but because there's a lot of money in here, a lot of investors also put their money into this kind of stocks. The second was actually into crypto, because crypto is a very new way of investing. We call it the digital gold. A lot of people wanted to safeguard their money because they knew that all this printed money was not real. They call it the fiat money. They want to safeguard their own assets. They converted many of this money into savings into crypto, right? And finally, the third type of assets is actually property as well. As people got more and more of this income coming in from all the governments as support, and they got access into their savings, and as the pandemic actually faded away, they decide to use a lot of their savings and buy properties and assets either for their own staying or for investments. So this is one of the ways of how I actually made that money coming in. Now let's fast forward to today. So this happened during what we call the COVID-19, which I will call it as a crisis as well. So now that we know what happened then and how we make money during this time, let's talk about another incident that's happening today. And that, my friend, is something called a recession. So many people right now are actually worried because they say, hey, a recession is coming. As a matter of fact, in many developed countries, like even in the UK and even in US, the market has started to slow down tremendously. And that is only the tip of the iceberg. A lot of countries are reporting losses. We're talking about Meta or Facebook actually cutting a lot of their employees. We're talking about Microsoft, who also got for global retrenchments going all around. So we can see a lot of countries, a lot of companies are actually slowing down. So we are expecting in 2023 that the market is going to get a lot worse. Now, a lot of you are probably asking right now, well, I know about all this, or this all sounds interesting, but hey, how do you make money in 2023? So let me explain this to you guys right now. What's going to happen in this is that basically it's the exact opposite of qualitative easing. What's happening and why the recession is happening right now is because we are going through something called a qualitative tightening. So this is the exact opposite of a qualitative easing. What's happening over here right now is because they knew all this money was being printed and printing money is not good. What the governments are doing of today is basically this. Moving forward from 2022, 2023, all the way to 2024 and maybe even more, is that they're going to try to reduce the money supply in the market. And how are they doing that? Is by basically taking a lot of this money away. How do they do that? They're going to increase the interest rates, right? So by taxing the people more through loans, okay, what they're going to do right now is they're going to start charging this, and more of that money is going to flow back into the banks, right? So that's what they're doing right now. So now that you understand this, you can see that it's very obvious these two graphs are very, very different. But then comes this big question of today. How do you make money in a market like this? And how do you actually go out there and profit? Well, the answer to you is very simple. How do I know how to take advantage of both these conditions? Is because of one singular thing that's happening that I can see right now. And I'm going to share that with you. Are you ready? All right. How do I know how to make money is basically very simple. I just have to time two things. I have to time when to go in the market and when to go out of the market. And by doing that, I'm able to then manipulate and profit from it pretty well. Now, I would advise you to, of course, learn more about this before entering any of these markets. But what you need to do is time it so well that you know when it's going to go low and when you're going to go up high. So now the question you're probably going to ask, yes, that makes a lot of sense, go in and go out, all right? But how do you know how to do this? And this is the last thing I'm going to share with you guys. You see, it's not as complicated as you think. All I'm going to tell you one thing right now is this. The similarity between this graph over here and this graph over here is one simple thing. Are you ready? Right? If you're ready, I'm going to write it down. All right? If you understand this very well, this, my friend, is a man-made event. I repeat again, this was not created out of thin air, or it wasn't a freak of nature. It was something that was engineered. So all you got to do right now, if you're getting this, this is going to be the best learnings of today. Meaning that what you're going to do right now is you're going to find who made this happen and who is making this happen right now. If you understand what I'm trying to say, just imagine this. In this situation, it was the Federal Reserve of the US that turned the taps and actually opened up all the money to flow out, right? And once they got enough of that money to cover and got them out of the pandemic, they started to tighten the taps. If you understand and see this right now, all you gotta do is follow the man that's opening the taps and closing the taps. You would know when to go into the market and when to get out of it, right? Does that make sense? But the other thing is also following over here. This is also engineered. The interest rates don't increase by itself. Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve in the United States is basically the one who is now tightening this little tap, and is actually increasing the interest rates. But he's not going to do it forever. There's going to be a time where he's going to start to slow it down. He's going to start to loosen it a little bit because he doesn't want to kill everybody. Now, just remember this. Nobody wants the entire market to go bust. So they just want to go out there to make sure you can control it and take some of this money back, and eventually it will start to go up again. So my friends, if you understand this right now, it is the exact opposite of this. Then all you got to do is time the market. And what I'm going to try and tell you to do, basically, is the exact same thing out of it. Instead of going out to in, all you got to do is enter the market towards the end of this tightening and wait until the water starts to open up again. And once it does, my friends, we're all going to make a lot. So how do you make money in a recession? Understand how this is being engineered, going at the lowest point, All right, and at that point out there, just wait for the water to flow all the way back out again, or the money to flow all the way back out again. And when that happens, my friends, you can then exit the market one more time. So that's how I'm going to share, and this is my strategy on how we're going to profit during this recession. I hope you guys have benefited from it. If you like what you heard right now, please do click like and share. Or if you have more questions, do comment in the comment box and I'll actually answer it for you guys, or even do another video on what you want to do. Okay, so stay tuned and enjoy yourself. Bye.